Hello, Blue Justin here, still Justin, still not blue, and today is the 6th of July, it is here, and it's time for my daily vlog, which will probably be with you, I assume, on the 8th, and I hope you've been following along till now. As I said yesterday, I'd ordered the Caligula set, and by dint of the fact it was quite expensive, and the way Amazon works, I could get it free by 1 o'clock this afternoon by ordering it yesterday, which is pretty darned impressive, I must say. So that's what's happened, and lo and behold, it did turn up before midday. I think I was still in bed. I'm just late at weekends, and this is what it looks like. As you can see, this is the Australian release, because that's the big, even worse than UK age ratings, not as bad as the German ones, but there you go. Which is this one's got R8 rated 18 plus, high impact sex scenes. High impact, well, there you go. Nudity and sexual violence. Well, that sums up the film, really. Umbrella Entertainment, as I said yesterday, and yeah, 4K. I'll just have a quick pair at the back there. Not sure why it's got the sticker on rather than this is through, like I said, Amazon UK, because you can't, I don't know the details on why Amazon Australia is the only Amazon in the world just about that won't send to the UK. Seemed to happen about the same time as Brexit, and something to do with the additional amount of forms and difficulty in sending to the UK and the distance, because it cost them so much in extra in importing fees and VAT on top of everything. It just didn't make it worth their while. I mean, obviously it's probably worse going the other way, being as Disney now doesn't sell physical media direct to Australia. It must be horrible if you're a collector in Australia, and I have sympathy for you if you're an Australian collector watching, not having to import so much of your stuff now, probably at greatly inflated prices. You do have some lovely labels down there, at least like Umbrella and Imprint, expensive but fantastic titles, who sent to Kermit's Ghost when he was still being able to do his weekly videos. And obviously I hope, Kermit, things are improving in your situation at the moment. And obviously it'd be great to see you back, but the important thing is to deal with what you're dealing with. But anyway, stretching on from that, as I say, that arrived this morning. Just quickly say that it's got a, I think there's only one 4K disc in here. I will probably open it up in a moment because it's thinner than I expected, considering. And it's also got much smaller writing, and I did actually print out some extra information on it, but I forgot to bring it into the room before I started recording, so that's totally my fault. What I can tell you is that I think it's got one 4K disc and 3 Blu-ray discs, as it says here, and there are 5 versions of the film. Sorry, I can't read this very easily. Look at the size of that print there. It's a nightmare. It's got the big one on the 4K is the ultimate cut, which I believe is they've thrown everything, including the kitchen sink, at that one. That's not just the uncut one with the sex scenes, real sex scenes in it. That's all the extra footage they managed to find, and which is 173 minutes long, and especially when you consider the uncut version, including sex scenes, is I think it's 156 off the top of my head. That's quite a lot of additional footage. In fact, let's go and get a little bit more detail to make sure I don't get this wrong. And there will now be a silly little cut. Tell you what, let's forget that plan altogether because my printer is playing up. So let's just try to work it out. Marvellous. Okay, like I said, I know I've got 5 versions on here. Ultimate cut is a 4K, lovingly reconstructed by the producer. So from over 90 hours of original footage. I originally read that as including 90 hours of original footage and thinking, oh dear. Right, what have we got? We've got the Blu-ray discs. They've got the ultimate cut on a Blu-ray as well. The unrated cut, which is uncensored, which is 156 minutes. The Italian cut in standard definition, which is 124 minutes. The Australian rated cut, which is standard definition, is 102 minutes. The pre-release cut of 153 minutes. The only one I think I have in addition to this is I've got it on DVD only, which is the UK release cut, which I can't remember how long it is. It's about the same length as those, in the 102, 103 minute area. So yeah, and it says it's got audio commentaries. I think it's got 4 audio commentaries. Why did I do that? 4 audio commentaries on it in total. I imagine that the audio commentaries will be on the cleaner cuts. Like I said, I know from I think I said yesterday, the actors, some of the actors have been involved in commentary on the one of the cleaner cuts, but obviously I don't think they'd be doing a commentary over the uncensored cut that the director shot some additional hardcore footage and inserted into the film to try and get more power and money coming in for the film. So yeah, this is, I mean, I do like the film, otherwise I wouldn't have the UK DVD set, the Emperor set I think it's called, and I wouldn't have the German Steelbook Blu-ray set. But do obviously that's 3 Blu-rays. I think there's 3 different cuts in there, though I can't tell which one's which, because it's all in German on the back. But I do know that looking at the different cuts that this includes, and ticked off in my tracking sheets for what I own, etc., there's nothing here that isn't on or isn't overtaken by and similar to this one. So it's close enough not to make any difference to me. Like I said, the only one that I will have to is supposedly different is the UK release, because it's different cuts. What other goodies has it got on this one? Like I said, apart from there's 4 commentaries. Let's see if I can get this sticker out of them. No, it's going to be it's going to be one of those stickers. So let's not. Pre-screening Q&As with the film festival. Let's see if it's easier to read with the shrink wrap off. Which I said I was going to do anyway, because I was expecting the case to be a little bit different. I'm quite surprised it's fitted into this. I will put up a picture just here somewhere of the fact that I believe this, when it was originally released, there was a special edition version which I was never going to get because it was far too expensive and I sold out very, very quickly. And there was, when this one was originally released, it did come in a slip cover, which I was hoping that this would do, but obviously the slip cover versions have sold out by now, so I didn't. This just came through as is. This is a 4-disc release. What have we got inside? Yeah. So we got that's the 4K over there. Just this one. This one says it's the Ultimate Cut, which is the long one. That's the Ultimate Cut 4K, Ultimate Cut Blu-ray. No, this is a lie. It's just because it's called the Ultimate Cut on the disc, it doesn't actually tell me what's on what disc. It's not very helpful. Anyway, these are the 3 Blu-rays, and that's the 2. Yeah, so that's the. Let's try that again. 4K Blu-ray, Blu-ray, and that's nice. I've just noticed that on the upside I can reverse the artwork to remove that loathsome age rating sticker, and also give me a bit of an easy way of reading. So here we go. Yes, audio comes with Heather. Yes, one of the audio commentaries with Malcolm McDowell. It's moderated. There's one with Helen Mirren, Alan Jones and Alice Chaffin. There's another with the on-set writer who's being interviewed during that. There's a reconstruction video essay. There's a discussion on the Ultimate Cut. There's a Caligula at Cannes featurette, post-screening Q&A with Malcolm McDowell at the, and another person involved at the Fantastic Film Festival in 2023. So that'll be the presumably of the Ultimate Cut when it's first made, and Q&A with all those seem to have repeated that extra in the descriptions. Hours of archival footage including deleted scenes, alternate scenes, behind the scenes stuff, documentaries, featurettes and interviews with Tinto Brass, who was the director, who was the person who introduced all those questionable scenes. You might have heard the name connected with other such controversial titles such as Salon Kitty. So yeah, if you want to look up those titles to get an idea of the sort of person, I think he was connected with Penthouse at some point, though don't quote me on that, because I'm only saying allegedly. So I thought one of them I saw was Penthouse Films production at some point, and some of there were also interviews with Gore Vidal is in there. So it sounds like there's not only 5 versions of the films, but a mass load of extras in there. And if you actually are not so anti the film that you just think it's softcore or hardcore, depending on the version you look at, porn and has no redeeming qualities, then this obviously is the set to get. And I must say I enjoy the film. Whether or not I don't think that makes me a bad person, it's just my opinion. So yeah, and that's it as obviously as today, as far as today's deliveries can go. Not often do you get deliveries on Sunday unless you organise them for a Sunday. I was hoping to get into my film watching day, but I stayed up a bit late last night finishing off some editing on yesterday's video, so it was all prepared to go up on time, because I have got quite a busy time at work at the moment, and I don't want to have to stay up really late or be working all evening on the editing, etc. So if I can get a little bit ahead, that would be very handy for me. So I stayed up late at the weekend, so I didn't have to, so that would minimise the amount of work I had to do during the week. But even though we didn't get round to watching any films today, preferably hopefully starting our James Bond marathon with the new 4K set that I showed you on the very first of these vlogs. I know that my wife also wants to watch the Blu-ray of Bridget Jones Mad About the Boy. Bridget Jones Mad About the Boy, the latest one, which I bought her for her birthday. So we haven't watched that yet. So which is a bit off, because it's a bit unfair of me to buy it for her and then we don't watch it. So we should really get around to doing that. So yeah, but we did instead keep on going with the Unforgotten series that we're doing so well on. As I said, we started season 5 yesterday, got about halfway through, finished season 5 today. Total great twist ending. Obviously I'm not going to give that away, but a fantastic twist ending on that one. And we've started watching season 6, which is the latest one to have been transmitted. It's all on ITVX though, so we can watch it all the way through. And I can't remember whether it's been finished transmitting on regular ITV. I should imagine it has, because I saw quite a few adverts for it quite some time ago. But we shall watch it through to the end, and then it probably won't be too many more days before we start watching something new, possibly and hopefully something on disc. So I'll be watching some Blu-rays that I can bring to your attention rather than streaming, because I prefer to see if I can watch some of my back catalogue of buying things. There's not a lot of point in me buying Blu-rays if I don't watch them at all, as lots of people point out to me. I do, and it is true that I do buy a lot more than I watch, or much faster than I watch, and this is not particularly well behaved of me. So I am still expecting an HMV delivery tomorrow. I don't know what time, and I don't know whether or not there'll be anything else arriving. There hopefully will be an Wow HD delivery in the next couple of days, but their lead times are quite unpredictable from when they send it. Can be 5 days, can be 7 days, can be 8 days, 9 days, 10 days. So it all just depends on which route it decides to take. But anyway, thank you again for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed this quick update on what I've done today. And like I said, it hasn't taken too long this time, because it's just this one arriving and a little bit of watching. And but that's excellent. Glad I took the cover off for you, because that way I know I can reverse it, which is really good. So thank you for that. And hopefully I shall, like I said, see you tomorrow. And could you please like the video and comment? It really does help the channel as I'm trying to build it back up again. Thank you very much indeed. Bye.